Hello, my name is Chatelier. Welcome back for another episode of Courage of Steel in Supreme Rule Ultimate. In previous episode we managed to push pretty far forward on, well, into Normandy and further down south along the western coast of France. Although we didn't actually go that far forward. We do have also a massive amount of troops in here, which hopefully will start moving today. For the most part, I've given orders to like maybe half of the units in there to start moving, so that should help us quite a bit. We've still got a lot of combat going on over here near Caen, but hopefully we'll get through those reserves there. There is a bit of tanks over here that definitely need to pull back. And of course the enemies also have a lot of planes around here, but by the looks of it we should be fine. Norway is offering military goods. I am going to reject that, because I don't actually need... well, I mean, I suppose I do need some military goods, but like, not really that much. We'll probably keep on pushing over here a little bit. There is a bit of a stack of enemies in here. We'll go after those and we'll grab some of the infantry in here and start moving it into the village instead. Right, so we are... oh, there we go. Dealt with yet another enemy coming in. There's a fair bit of troops around Paris by the looks of it, but hey, we managed to capture the town. Or at least clear the town of enemies, so let's just push these forward. And what we can do now is we can start taking some of these ships slightly forward, and then send the submarine over there to clear out the battleship. Also, we can probably bring in some of the artillery closer, as well as this group. That one is probably missing... oh right, it's missing the supply truck. I gave the supply truck orders to go repair. Well, I suppose we got one over here, although is that... don't know if it's part of a group already. I suppose we could move it over there for the time being. It might be part of that artillery group, actually, now that I think of it. We've got a lot of artillery on the move. And we can probably move in these artillery groups forward. The idea is that we'll start to get a little bit around here. We'll probably clear out most of the planes from this airfield. So I don't think that airfield is going to be a massive issue at this stage. Of course, could be better. We'll move some more artillery forward. Looks like the enemy doesn't have that much artillery. There's a lot of recon in there, but not a lot of artillery. There's that... oh, that submarine is going to be a problem. As well as that. Okay, at least we dealt a lot of damage on the Templar there. There we go, sank it. We got more ships coming in here. Hopefully that will allow us to... so one thing that I did notice is that there is no more port on the northern coast of France that they can use. I mean, they can land, of course, in Belgium and go from there. But I think a lot of the nations will be sending ships through here to Bordeaux, because that's the only remaining port on the Atlantic side of things. I'll bring in more artillery towards the front line here. And we can probably give some of these troops a few moments of rest. But this is a... right, we got a lot of tanks over here. I moved the front line without remembering where exactly I was going. We can probably bring in some of the artillery in here to be closer. We already got some artillery over here clearing out a decent chunk of the enemies. If we can start bombarding the airfield over there to get rid of the planes, which, to be fair, we're already damaging them, most of them anyway. So take the remaining infantry from here and start heading towards the airfield, or airbase and airfield in there, and there's of course some... actually, that's not artillery pieces, it's anti-tank guns. They're a little bit different. Okay, that submarine is going to be in problems. Well, let's just pull that one back. At least we damaged the enemy. But there's that. Mexico and Portugal have allied, alright. We managed to get some money from selling various technologies to quite a few nations. I think we all even sold one tech to Americans. Which, I mean, for some reason, they like me. So, you know. Actually, is there any sort of resource that they need? Timber, maybe. I mean, that's something that they're buying. They need petroleum. Oh. Okay, so let's say if we were to give you, I don't know, let's say 10 million barrels or something. How much are you willing to pay for that? 140 million. Okay, I'll take it. Right, so is that repairing? Well, if it isn't, it will be now. Also, while editing the previous batch of episodes, I did realize what happened with the I don't remember if the attack was over here or further down here, but anyway, I was like, giving orders to attack all. I thought I gave the entrenchment order, but I gave the reserve order for a group of tanks, and I was like, hold on a minute, how are you retreating already? No, that was the case. Oh, there may have been some units that I was not supposed to be moving. I think what we're going to do is we're going to start moving the capital ships a bit further. We should have some submarines over here that we can utilize to sort of sink any of the enemy ships that might cause a problem. Oh, America actually rejected the offer for the petroleum. But they did buy the tech that we sold them. And the Dutch are willing to buy some consumer goods from us. I mean, I'm sure. I suppose I'll take it. We got some tanks over here. Actually, what we haven't started doing yet is, let's take these and start bombarding the airfield. And only the airfield. There we go. We're going to force the enemy planes out of there. Which, to be fair, there shouldn't be that massive amount, but there is still quite a few. We'll bring in the AA a little bit closer, perhaps. And the infantry is slowly amassing in here. Hopefully we can utilize them to push the enemies back a little bit. Submarines are having a fun time just sinking these merchant marines in here. Like one by one they're trying to sail across here. As soon as they enter there, we'll sink them. We can actually move in some of the fleet over there, and looks like there's no more planes over here in Tours. So what I suppose I could do is I could start advancing. I might want to leave a little bit of troops hidden. Well, I suppose if we can take out the airfield here, then that's going to cover the flank. Perhaps we'll just take these, start pushing forward. That one can go get some repairs, I suppose. Oh, and now that we can capture a little bit more of the areas here, we should probably start building the railway crossing through here. We'll probably do something like that, and that, and that. There we go, so that's going to give us a bit of a sort of shortcut to get to repairs in here. I've repaired the barracks and the military couplings. I've not spent money to repair the land production quite yet, although it would mean that the units would be made or built quicker. So at some point we probably should do it. Let's take these and entrench over here so we can take La Rochelle. So there's a lot of British and Norwegian troops that are getting sank over there. Ooh, the supply truck probably needs to pull back. There's a little bit of artillery in there. Not massive amounts, but I suppose we can start pushing forward down that way, and then I'll take this stack, entrench into the forest, and then we'll take this stack and entrench there as well. There is a land production over here, which they are actually repairing right now. We should have a lot of troops, though, that we can send forward and start pushing towards Paris. I mean, we're not going to be attacking Paris itself yet. We're probably going to get up to, well, probably here, Chartres, and then we'll go around the northern side, maybe capture these, or just go around them to get towards the Belgian border and start sort of shutting down the border so the enemies need to bring in troops with ships that we can sink, and that way we can sort of starve the reinforcements from the enemy. Or rather, prevent them from reaching where they're heading to. We could probably move these. I mean, do we have supplies in here? We do. Not massive amounts, but we do. And the garrisons are going down there rather quickly. Ooh, that was still a lot of air force in there. Luckily, most of them got shut down, thanks to our AA here, but my goodness, that was a bit more than I expected. Got some infantry over here that is not in use right now. We can probably gather them up into a new group over here to support the attack on the other airfield here.
We need reinforcements.
Let's actually go ahead and send a tank over here to support the attack. Oh, right, they're attacking over here. Alright. I was wondering where we need reinforcements with that. Kind of makes sense. And we got an escort that needs to go get some repairs. We can bring in our whiskies over here to maybe sink that escort. Or, you know, tanks can sink that. Do we have air guns in here? We got a little bit. They got a lot of planes in Le Havre. It looks like, yeah, we're shooting down most of the enemy planes, so I'm not too worried about this. It's just out of curiosity, how many units have we destroyed? 7,500, we lost 104. Okay, I'd like to get it to at least 10,000 without losing more, but that's not going to be the case. Like, if I can get to 100 to 1 ratio or something like that, then that would be brilliant, but of course, yeah, it's not going to happen. Building up the air defense over here, which is hopefully, well, I don't know how much it's actually going to do in this particular conflict, but hopefully it will help. And then we got some infantry over here that we can start pushing forward as well. And more tanks to the southern flank. Right, so we did capture the airfields here. Let's just go and finalize the capture. The land production we can probably also get into quite easily. Moving our artillery forward. Fair bit of combat going around here, so there's a lot of recon, and there's a few other things. We can probably push in some of the artillery forward. Start sort of weakening the enemies here. And now that we've got the submarine stack on our side, if they get in there, we'll sink them. But, like, it at least prevents the enemy escorts from causing problems for us, which is going to be rather nice. Now, there is starting to be a bit more artillery over here, so I'm getting slightly concerned. Not too bad yet, but it could certainly be a lot better. Okay, well, we've got a stack of tanks over here. What we'll do is that... That's us artillery over there, so I'm just going to go in with some troops from here. We'll split this a little bit in half, so that we're going to have two of these support the defenders in here. That one needs to pull back before it gets destroyed, although it's probably going to get destroyed anyway. There's too much artillery in here. Although, perhaps not. But the more we can get rid of the enemy artillery, the better. Because the artillery and the planes are basically the one thing that can actually make up serious damage on us. Well, and the ships, I suppose. What I suppose I could do is I could start bringing the artillery along with it, so that once we get within reach of the airfield there, we can start destroying that. And are we still... Oh yeah, we might be bombarding that area still. Go ahead and send some of these troops into the city, and then these two to go get some repairs in the land production over here. Got a couple more infantry that could be moved in, and we've got the tank group over here that will probably move into the flank for the time being. Let's actually move over there to start destroying all the artillery that might be behind the lines. There we go. Got pretty good progress in here. We do have another ship that needs to be repaired though, so let's just do that real quick. Suppose we could bring in another capital ship over here. Increase the bombardments. There's not that much enemies in there. Let's go ahead and take some of these tanks and start pushing forward. But if we can get through Ruin and cut these off, destroy the airfield over there, and, well, or rather capture the airfield over there, and start pushing the enemies further and further back. Like, the closer we get to Paris, the better. Although we don't want to get too close because it's going to be really difficult to... Well, I suppose, in theory, we should have a large enough concentration of troops available that we could just take Paris itself. And that would be probably pretty bad for their unity. I mean, their military approval rating currently is only 59%. And their domestic approval rating is 24%. So they might surrender sooner rather than later. Bring in more of our artillery forward. Is that... Alright, there's some random troops over here as well. Alright, let's move these forward to provide a bit more buffer zone there. And then we'll get these tanks to clear out the land production area. These can get into the city. Although that's actually a few too many. Get some into the forest. We've got the naval support in here, so it should be fairly easy to hold on to. Got a bit more air guns over here that we should probably move down into the south, although the closest airfields are there. They're building a lot of things in here, trying to recuperate their losses that they've had to take. Kind of makes sense. At the same time, it's futile. So that has quite a few artillery pieces in here, but no frontline troops, so we should be able to destroy those very swiftly. At least in theory. We should probably move in these guidelines forward. And then these guidelines over here to the sort of southeastern flank right now. Move these forward, and the tanks can just move past that area. We've got a few more infantry in here that could probably group up with the rest of these. What do we have here? We've got the AA guns moving across, we've got some infantry in here, we've got some more tanks in here actually. We'll just bring these... You know what, we'll bring these towards the Paris, because if we are going to attack Paris, then we do need to have a fair bit more troops to actually do the city fighting, or the urban fighting, but that is going to be rather painful. Right, yes, there's still a lot of... Oh yeah, there's still a lot of ships being sunk here. There's also a submarine over there. If it enters there, I suppose we'll just take care of it. That's another one. Are we still sinking stuff over here as well? Occasionally, I think yes. Is there anything over here? Probably not over there. There might be something... Well, actually, I don't think there's anything over there. But regardless, we've got a lot of submarines, and I suppose we'll just keep on pushing with the tanks here. These can push here, we can have these push forward, that can push forward. We've got artillery support in here, that's some 80 guns there, or tank destroyers in there. Which complex are they approaching? Ah, okay. Yeah, sure. And Netherlands wants to buy some more. Oh, wow. Offering 2 billion? What? Sure, I mean, it's going to be daily trades. It's not going to be like an instant 2 billion, but it's still going to make us a lot of money overall. Oh, we got a lot of artillery in here. Is this artillery that I sent to be repaired? Maybe. There's 7 artillery pieces, so probably. Let's just bring them closer over here so we can start bombarding some of the enemies trying to get across the river here. Although, well, seem to be mostly futile anyway. Is that a stack of artillery? For the most part, yes. So what I shall do is I'll start pushing forward. If I get through Chartres, that is going to be getting closer and closer to Paris. We should probably bring in some of the artillery closer, as well as some of the AA guns. I know that we got some in here. I mean, some are at least in the artillery troops, so that's going to help. But yeah, if we can start bombarding the airfields over there, then that'd be brilliant. Although I don't think we can actually do that quite yet. Ah, there we are. There's a group of anti-air. We'll bring those into the front line. By the sounds of it, our anti-air rockets are also doing a fair bit of work. Which is good. I mean, now that we've got some air production areas, we could start building some planes of our own. But, like, it's gonna take so long time for us to get an air force in here that will be able to sort of withstand the enemy. So it's gonna be really difficult. So I'm kind of tempted to just go with the anti-air stuff for the time being. Speaking of which, we could probably start building something over here. The Ganav has got 72-kilometer range, whereas the guidelines have 57, so we might actually start building those. The damage is similar, slightly smaller in the mid-target, but higher on the low target. Spotting range is longer and is quicker to build. It is more expensive to build as well, but yeah, we'll just start building some of those. And what I'll probably do is I'll just repair all of these. And that's going to allow us to get a bit more troops. For sure. Right, we've got a bit of a gap on the front here. Let's start sending some troops down that way. They've got a lot of troops trying to go around there. Okay, let's just take infantry in here. Bring them in a massive stack, and then what we'll do is we'll just start taking these cities one by one, or these urban centers one by one, and just, you know, push the enemy back and win the war. Well, winning the war might be a bit of a longer thing than just taking Paris, but that is at least a very good first step on the road to victory. Well, perhaps not the first step, but another step. It looks like the road towards Bordeaux is also open up, so what we can do is we can start capturing more of this area. What I'll probably do is I'll actually bring in our capital ships over here, and the submarines are little by little giving up. So we can bring these submarines closer, and now they'll be sailing through my territories most likely. Or what I suppose I can do is I can bring in the submarines. Actually, they need to enter in my territory, so if we have these on top of where the capital ships are going to be firing, that's going to be a problem. But if we pull them back over here, then we'll have a lot of submarines and capital ships firing on that group. So that's good. Let's have a look at the situation in the front line. So northern front line seems to be fairly stable right now. We've got a lot of artillery support in there. We could probably bring in another troop over here. So I suppose what we shall do is we'll start approaching the crossing over here. We'll bring in the artillery closer so that we can start shooting down some of the planes in the airfield. We'll bring in the AA over there somewhere. And then these could maybe push further along. There's a lot of planes in here that we need to shoot down. Oh, there's a fair bit of planes flying about. We're shooting down a fair chunk of them. How's the... Okay, we already killed 7,733. So we got another 200 kills since the last time. Let's send that one to be repaired. Oh, there's a French submarine in here. Alright, I wasn't expecting that. But regardless, so there's 4 defenders in Rouen. So what we'll do is we'll just park the tanks over here and destroy the enemies. It should be fairly quick overall, although there might be some... Oh yeah, there is some artillery over there. So we will be taking some indirect fire. We can bring in this artillery group within reach of the airfield, hopefully. And I'll give these orders to start bombarding over there. Are we still bombarding? Actually, no, I don't think we are. I'm pretty sure that it cancels the order once you capture things. But we'll bring these closer. There is some artillery shooting us from across the river. We got the infantry moving forward. We've still got some tanks over here that could be moved in. Let's bring this closer to the southern flank here. If we can take it up to Orleans and all that, that's going to cover our flank quite nicely. And then we can start pushing towards Paris. I mean, I know that I was saying earlier that I should surround Paris first and all that, but if we can manage it, taking out Paris as quickly as possible is going to mean that they will surrender sooner. And a little bit troops parked into the village. And then now that we've dealt enough damage on the airfield here, I think it's time to send in the next group of tanks to take that one over. And then we can get closer and closer into places where we can start bombarding the Paris metropolitan area. Let's go ahead and get these forward. Do we have any more troops over here? We've got some infantry. We'll just bring those closer. We are bombarding a lot of the enemy troops in here. They don't have vision on our artillery, luckily. Let's go ahead and step on the road so we can stop them from getting through. And I suppose we've got a few units over here that could be sent around there to make sure that we don't lose it. These can push forward. We can bring the artillery and the AA closer. So once we take that land production over there and basically block off this road completely from the enemy, well, perhaps not all the way there yet, but slowly but surely we need to advance in pretty much every direction. Is the point that I'm making here, so we'll try to do our best. Is that is a military complex? Because that is something that we can conquer relatively quickly, I would assume. We might have to switch some of these tanks around so that we can keep on pushing forward, but like, the more and more we conquer, the better. How's the... Okay, military rule rating is back to 59% for them. Domestic only 23.8, which is a lot lower than what we have, even in the domestic approval rating. But you know, we're not losing a war, so that gives us a bit of an edge over them. So there's going to be 5 garrisons and charge airs. We'll just conquer that. Got another set of tanks over here. Let's just get across the river and we can start destroying a lot of the units there. We're getting more tanks brought into the front line. And also a bit more artillery that could help keep the enemy at bay. Let's bring in the AA guns closer and the artillery could be brought closer. So that once we capture that, we can still shoot beyond the city as well. Right, have we gotten the infantry in here? I believe we have. So it's time to go ahead and assault yet another city. Let's go a little bit to the side just to make sure that there's no reinforcement arriving from the flanks. We are under attack by Belgium. Oh no. Alright. So time to keep moving over here. We'll retreat this one. Bring one of these instead. And we can start pushing forward towards the crossing over here in the northwest of Paris. Just so that we can... you know what? We'll entrench these. And then we'll entrench these over here. Hopefully the planes are being taken care of. I mean, we probably could bring some of the AA guns closer again. We've got on the tanks a little bit closer to the enemies here. But I think what we can do is we can send in more across here. And just try to do as much damage on the enemies as possible. There is still a lot of planes in here, so let's go ahead and take these, start bombarding the airfield. Oh, right, there's an AA gun there. There we go. Right, so that's a lot better, and then we've got a few more units over here that we could probably bring to guard the flank there, while the rest of these get across the river. That is a lot of planes flying above. Did we lose a unit? Yeah, we did. Okay, we lost a heavy tank over there. Understandable, that was a lot of planes coming through. Let's just pull these back. We'll get some reinforcements soon. And there's not that much... Well, there's actually quite a few garrisons there. And there we go. We destroyed the troops there. Let's just send in another 7 into the city. Preferably ones that still have some combat time left in them. But that's going to allow us to destroy the troops on the... Oh, wow, that is a lot of planes in there. We might lose a unit or two here. That one needs to pull back. If it can. I mean, that is a lot of planes. Yeah, that's at least one lost. We actually lost inside the city. But yeah, there's just not much I can do about that many planes. I mean, I suppose I can bombard them a little bit. Or I can just push them back. Slowly or bit by bit. And, you know, we've shot down a lot of them. Okay, I think we do have to retreat. We can't hold that one quite yet. Bring in the AA guns over here, a little bit more central, and we can bring in the artillery closer as well over here. So yeah, we lost a bit too many troops there. But at least we are getting closer. Right, so these two I'm just going to send back to be repaired. We've got the infantry stack right now in here, ready to move closer. Which place would be the... I suppose if we start attacking from the south, that would be probably the least planes within, you know, close distance. Or if we start attacking here, I mean, they... I don't know. Well, we'll give it a try. Just approach from a direct route. Or direct approach. But with that, we are unfortunately out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.